Hello, my darling viewers, and welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Miranda, and I am the Enchantress of Avalon. So, for this week's video, I have chosen the topic of green magic and the earth element. So, for those of you that have been following my different content for a while now, you'll know that I am very connected with the water element. I work a lot with it. But recently, over the last 6 months or so, I've been really deepening a connection to the earth element. And really, that connection was always there. I always had a fascination with green magic, with herbalism, and I am a Virgo sun and moon, but I never felt a super big connection into that earthy groundedness because I do have a very flighty kind of nature, very big, very over the top. Even being a Virgo sun and moon, I was very confused because I didn't think it fully fit my personality. However, as I dug more into my chart, I discovered that was most likely because I am a Leo rising and I have a lot of planets in Leo, but I have also a lot of planets in the earth element signs, and I am actually connected to the earth element more than any other element in my chart, meaning that I think my connection to water was a way of balancing all of the earth and fire that was in my chart, because we all desire, I think, some sort of balance when we're naturally inclined in one direction. So what does all of this mean? Well, it means that over the last half a year or so, I have been really looking to root down into myself and to be more embodied rather than all in my head, which I do tend to go to that place of like in my head and let's do this, and overthinking, overdoing things instead of just being within my own body. And it has been a really great experience to really deepen into the sense of being within my body and that whole green goddess, earth mother type of energy. It has been kind of a coming home experience for me. It's very, very sensuous and intuitive, and it has just enhanced my life to tap into this other elemental energy that I had been sort of neglecting. So, how have I done this? Might be the next question. Well, I have been studying herbalism since the class began at the beginning of March. So this is 3 months in now with the amazing Suzanne O'Gara. It is an incredible class, and actually taking a class on herbalism and really committing to studying herbalism has been something I've wanted to do for many years now. So that has been a huge game changer for me in balancing all of that watery, elemental, emotional work that I normally do with this grounded, earthy, green work that I've also been very attracted to. And I've also been doing a lot of earth element yoga recently, which it just feels so good to do yoga that is, instead of just the fluid flowing kind of water element yoga or traditional vinyasa flows or flows associated with like the moon cycle, to have this grounded energy within the flow feels so great. And some of my favorite poses are very earth element poses anyway, have always been. I love Malasana, which is yogic squat. I love child's pose, which is again a very grounded, earthy pose. And I love tree pose. They are three of my favorite poses and have been for decades now because I've been practicing since I was just a kid. It just never connected that these are earth element poses and they're some of my favorites. Even within other types of flows, I always enjoy these poses. And I gravitate towards that energy. It was unconscious. And now that I'm bringing it into the conscious realm of thought, I feel this very alive, awakened fertility and creativity within myself that I am so overjoyed with. It's just so incredible. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of water in my zodiac chart at all. I have one sign in one planet in a water sign. That is pretty much it. And I only have 2 planets in air signs. It's very, very little, very minimal. I am very heavily earth and then fire second. So I think that desire to balance that energy in my just disposition to begin with is what led me to really loving water. I was a water baby growing up and really needing that emotional flow of water. But by taking all of that water that I've always worked with and adding this earthiness to it, I've found this really amazing blooming happening, because after all of those plants in that earth element, they need water to grow, and they also need sun to grow, and that's the fire. So the natural fire and earth can combine with that water to create a beautiful wellspring of energy. And another great way to really just get into that earth element is grounding meditations, deep breathing meditations to just center yourself, bring down that anxiety level. Again, that embodiment, that going within and just sitting in stillness sometimes. And I'm not a still person. I'm a very fidgety person. I tend to just kind of fidget around a lot. I think that's the fiery energy in there. But when I can find comfort and in the stillness, that is growth to me. And so I've also been talking over these last months a lot about different archetypes associated with this whole Earth Mother kind of energy and the earth element energies. So I talked about my own fairy herbalist archetype in a video in the past, and I wrote a blog post about it, and it's very much born from that beginning my herbalism course. I'd been studying herbalism on my own for a long time, but I'm so glad I finally started actually studying it in a course and having the support of an amazing teacher who is very inspiring and very nurturing in this process is the really next step on that journey. And really realizing that other than that watery magic, I'm really, really intrinsically drawn to that green energy, that green magic energy. So I have been reading about green magic for years again and dabbling, but not really feeling like that was right. And now I realized the reason why it's one of the first things that drew me in, along with all the fairy stuff, and it relates to all the fairy stuff, is because it was always intrinsically just something that worked for me. So yes, that fairy herbalist archetype is that very magical fairy overgrown forest type of energy that will ground you and help you learn to heal yourself and others and heal the planets. There's a little bit of an eco side to it too. Then the archetypes from the tarot, the Queen of the Pentacles and the Empress, are so rooted in this very earthy, grounded, fertile earth elements and green nature. So, of course, that connects in with that Earth Mama energy of fertility and nurturance. These zodiac signs of course, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn energies. I already said I was a Virgo. I also have Taurus in my zodiac as a midheaven point, so Leo rising. And I have some signs in Capricorn as well. And they're the zodiac signs of the zodiac energies of the stability and abundance, very abundant energies, as well as a little bit perfectionistic in the Virgo side. I will admit to that. That was the only thing growing up that really clicked with me with the Virgo energy, was being a little bit over perfectionistic. So, the goddesses of Demeter, Persephone, Gaia, but also Freya is one of the Vanir who came to Asgard, but she is very much a fertility deity. So she has that connection to that earthiness, and also a connection to fire. Most people associate her more with fire. And then Bloodowith and Rhiannon have obviously very earthy elements to them. Rhiannon also has that connection to the sun, bringing in some fire, but later connected to the moon, so you have that little bit of watery counterbalance for her. Bloodowith literally is made of flowers, though. She is the flower goddess. And I know I say her name a lot. I do want to note that what I say is kind of an anglicized version of the name. It would more appropriately be pronounced Blodaiwath in the Welsh pronunciation. And even Guinevere, who is, of course, from the Arthurian legends, but a goddess in her own right, is very much that earthy energy of fertility and abundance. She's literally the flower bride, the representative of the goddess of sovereignty of the land, marrying a king to cement his right to rule the land. So you don't get more earthy than that. And of course, just like Bloodowith and Rhiannon, she is associated with the holiday of Beltane. And then the final goddess I want to mention is Aphrodite. Aphrodite is very much a water element goddess, and most people think of her as such, as this emotional, sexual, watery goddess. She is that. She was literally born from sea foam. However, she does have fertility aspects, being a goddess of love and sexuality. Fertility is intimately entwined with this, and those fertility aspects do have a bit of an earthiness to them, as does her connection with apples. Apples are a fruit of the land. They are associated with obviously sexuality and fertility in general, and especially female fertility, just like pomegranates are. So, which we think Persephone more for pomegranates, obviously, but that connection with apples, though, is something that connects her with that earthy element, and also connects her in with a lot of the other goddesses I mentioned. They are the fruit of the Isle of Avalon. Although the other most sacred tree of Avalon is, of course, the hawthorn tree, which brings us back to those May queens and flower brides, as that May energy of fertility and abundance is also seen within the hawthorn tree that flowers at that time and has a very sexual connotation to it. So it all entwines. And even the elements of water and earth balance each other greatly and do entwine greatly. As I've mentioned, water nurtures earth to grow fruits, vegetables, and flowers to provide for the humans living on earth. And they are both the feminine elements. When we break the elements into 4 elements, we have 2 masculine and 2 feminine. Water and earth are the feminine elements. So this is the very yin side of the elements, whereas air and fire are masculine. Although it should be noted that in the Celtic belief system, there are 3 elements. Fire is just an intrinsic need for all, but it isn't considered an element. It's considered on its own different level, whereas earth, air, and water are the elements, and they're the elements where an animal can live. So that's why they are elements, because the lands of earth, air, and sea. So I do hope that you've enjoyed this little deep dive into my journey towards the greener, earthier side of life. If you have liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my blog, whiteroseofavalon.life, for more content, and also consider joining my Discord server, always linked in the comments below. Have a great day. Bye now.